Hello and welcome to the Final Bell, brought to you by Panther Tyres, as we are every single week, the official Geelong Cats podcast. We appreciate the support of Panther Tyres. If you need anything for your car, give the guys at Panther Tyres a call, go down and see them, ring them up, they'll come grab your car, they'll take it out there, they'll fix it all up, they'll drop it back, they'll do everything. They're that good, the entire crew at Panther Tyres. So we appreciate their support. I've got Scotty, Gullan and Mathew Stokes with me. We're going to talk some footy. We're going to talk the weekend's games, what's coming up, huge milestones for the footy club, for Joel and Gary Ablett. We're going to talk with Darcy Fort, who I thought did a terrific job in the ruck against Max Gawn on the weekend. We're not going to get to your questions this week, unfortunately. Sorry to all the listeners out there who did send some questions in. We want to give a little bit of love to the two legends of the Geelong Footy Club in Joel Selwood and Gary Ablett, but we will get to your questions next week, so please do keep them coming in. Scotty, hello and welcome to you.
I can start with a question that represents the fans.
Yes.
I'm taking a wild guess. They would like to know why the Geelong Football Club played that game style to beat Melbourne.
Okay, we're going to get to that. In a lot of detail, we're going to get to
Scotty.
that.
I just had to ask the question off the top.
Mathew, always a pleasure to see you.
Always, Cameron.
Great. Do you agree with him?
Oh, we'll get to that, Cameron.
Okay, we'll get to that. I know this week we promised to our listeners that we'd have Diggsy.
Oh, Diggsy.
Oh, Diggs.
I did my research. I was pumped.
Did you do some research?
Yeah, I looked up Diggsy.
Okay, Diggsy, for those who don't know, he's producer and co-host with Pat McAfee. McAfee, that's right.
Yep.
Sorry. Who's now become almost legendary status with the fact he discovered AFL during the pause in the NBA season, American sport, live sport across the world. He found AFL and fell in love with it. He started barracking for Collingwood because of Mason Cox, that connection, the American playing in the AFL. His man Diggsy is Cats man.
He's our man now.
Yeah,
he's our man.
Decided to take on the Cats. Well, he was pretty chuffed with the fact we gave him a mention last week. We asked if we could get him on. He was pumped and said yes, absolutely. Couldn't come this week, but has promised us next week, Scotty. So hold your research.
They tweeted out a link and it had all of us in it, but Stokesy with the fist pump. They loved it. It was another segment of the show.
He's my boy. So, we've been texting flat out over the last week, and he's given us some pretty good feedback on the weekend. So
we're in a group chat, apparently.
I know Diggsy will be pumped that it's Gaz's 350th and Joel Selwood, the legendary skipper's 300th. So we'll talk to you next week about that, Diggsy. Before we do talk footy, can I just give one little...
Oh, yes.
The Pats.
We
the
are
New England
back.
Patriots. This is my Pats T-shirt. I know those listening can't see it right now. Cam Newton has signed with the Patriots.
This is a fairy tale. Great player, lost his way, injured.
Wait. He lost his way. He got injured. He didn't lose his way.
His last couple of years, he was a bit,
Before he got injured, wasn't last year. Yeah, the year before.
He hasn't been good for a couple of years.
2015 MVP, Super Bowl.
It's a long time ago.
I disagree with that completely.
Do you think he's been flying until the injury?
Not last year, but the year before he got his shoulder injury, his first 6 rounds were as good as his MVP year.
So I'm glad that you're pumping up the fact
know.
the Patriots are now the Super Bowl favourites.
No, they're not. They're paying $25. I do my research, all right? They aren't the favourites.
No, the Chiefs would be holding that position, I'm assuming, right now.
Patrick Mahomes, boy.
No, it's just...
Are you a Chiefs fan now?
No, I just love Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so do I.
It's a genius move.
You're a Boston, New England sports fan.
Through.
Yeah, he's a fan who gives him free stuff.
That's true.
Exactly.
I'm through and through. But Belichick made him wait, made everyone speculate, said I'm going with the kid who's apparently good, but we really got our man.
Superman, Super Cam. All right, that's my little NFL pump up. Let's get to some footy. All right, you brought it up. Let's call it a dour struggle between the Cats and Melbourne. 7-5-47, beating Melbourne 6-8-44, 3-point win. It wasn't pretty.
Paint a scenario, which I don't think I was the only one. Sunday afternoon, didn't have to work, got everything done by 3:30.
Torrential rain, wind, horrible conditions at the MCG
no, that
for
wasn't
football.
When I turned on the TV. Cracked the Corona, said this is going to be fun. Good game, Melbourne a good team. Oh, wow.
2 goals each at half-time. Perfect sunny day.
I'm not going to be outraged. Geelong won, and I get that coaches have to win the game, so I've got no problem with that. But the debate of the state of the game has come off this, and then Hawthorn and North was pretty bad. I don't get. Can you explain to me, because I'm not as smart as you two gentlemen, Geelong's possession game, which they deliberately did so Melbourne on the run and burst.
Don't have an answer for you. Don't call us smart. If you want
We've
an
got
answer,
another 40 minutes to fill.
If you want an answer as to why we play so slow and so careful, I don't have an answer.
Mathew?
It's not the style I like. And I'm not just saying to look at, but I think
I just don't understand it.
I'm not talking about all Stokesy. I think you agree with me. We're not talking about all-out shootout, guns blazing, roll the dice football. We're talking about a balanced game between good at the contest, good defensively, but you've got to be prepared to attack and score and take the game on and actually create doubt in the opposition's mind.
Absolutely, Ling. I was looking to have a nap on a Sunday afternoon, and this game did the trick. Look, I don't want to be one of those ex-players that,
No.
But it was a pretty dour game. And like you said, you've got to have balance when you play football, and there is a good balance. And for some reason, we look amazing when we have to get going. Like last week showed that when we played Carlton in the last quarter, we looked incredible. There was good balance between attacking and defensive work. Melbourne game was the same. When in the last quarter, when they started to come, we actually looked the best that we played. But why do we have to wait for that? But yeah, the game plan, I'm not too sure, and I don't want to criticise our club, but it wasn't a great spectacle to watch.
Is the Gold Coast Suns form and is St Kilda's form and is Port Adelaide's form a fluke, the way they're playing? Because they are playing brave, adventurous football. They're giving the forward handball. They're using the kick on the 45. They're prepared to run from behind, create. They're risking turning the footy over, but they're winning games.
I think...
No, I don't think it is either, but I'm just for discussion.
No, I know what you mean. I think Camperdown Ken, our man, knows he's got the right talent spread across the ground to go with that. And I would have thought Geelong.
So have we.
Yeah. And a few other clubs have also. And I know there's games, I know if you're playing Richmond, who have been the powerhouse, you want to keep the ball off them. I get it. I just didn't understand why Melbourne, you're so fearful of Melbourne. And does it creep into the player's mind? Then it's in their mindset, which it clearly looks like as an observer. I'm nearly petrified because I've got to make this 15-metre kick. I'm not allowed to. They became like robots. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the way that we played and the style that we played, that can't be manufactured. That's a game plan. They've been told to play a certain way. What the danger is when we do play against a quality team, we'll get torn apart because I don't think we actually have the skills to be able to play that game. And I think the confidence of our players will be diminished because of that. So we'll see how it plays out, and hopefully we get it right this week because we've got a big game.
Cameron Guthrie, very good on the weekend. Got the 10 coaches' votes, I noticed, and well-deserved. Played a terrific game. I thought Brandon Parfitt came good, and his pressure and his work around the contest, excellent. I noticed again in the best players, I had a crack at you last week,
well,
Scotty.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you this
on the
week.
Couch.
Jack Henry. To me, he was Geelong's second best player behind Cameron Guthrie.
Agreed.
Was not in the best players. And I know, and again, so I'm not counteracting what I was just saying about wanting to attack and therefore rewarding a defensive player, but in a dour defensive game. Jack Henry saved 4 goals for the Cats through just desperation, incredible, some one-on-one work, actually won the footy back at times. He's incredibly brave spoils, out of position, covered for others. He's got to be in the best players.
No argument from me.
Oh, okay.
No
We're
argument.
on the same page.
Absolutely.
I liked our argument last week, Scotty.
I know you did. I won that.
It was cute. I thought it was cute.
I got a lot of feedback that I dominated that
No,
argument.
you didn't. I got more Twitter feedback saying, well done.
Cameron Ling won.
The worm that, what's it called? Scores the debate. Moderates the debate, is that what it is?
Yeah, correct. Now, what about Jack Stephen? He was
won.
better. Like you said, stick with him.
Oh, I don't know.
Jack
if he
was better?
Don't know if he was much better.
He was better.
I think he's a work in progress. I think you can't expect in this game to be able to come to a new club, go through what he's been through over the preseason and come out and dominate. I think he needs time. I think we've given time to a lot of other players to find their feet for a long period of time, and Jack's no different. I think you back him in, but at the same time, there are decisions that need to be made in the sense of the inconsistencies from some of our players, and we won't mention them or name them. That'd be disrespectful. But how long do how long do you give someone? Because at the moment, what we do as players and a club is we play one good game, we play one bad game. And then we play a good game and covers up our holes and the gaps that we're missing. And then all of a sudden it's back to being rosy and peachy because we have a good game, and it's mainly because we come back here.
Well, the man who I thought had a wonderful game on the weekend against arguably the best ruckman in the competition, Darcy Fort, his face is just flashed up on our screen, so we're going to get to him shortly. I thought he was terrific against Big Maxi Gullan. Just before we do, though, can I just grill you guys with maybe a couple of ins and outs? Tom Stewart, unfortunately.
What's happened there?
One of my favourite players for the Cats.
I thought we bred him tough here, Stokes.
Broken collarbone, it looked so
South Barwon boy.
South Barwon softy. Is that what we're saying?
The wrong spot in a bump with Tom
unlucky
McDonald.
as all time.
He's out. Who comes in?
Well, this is an interesting...
Please bring Jordan Clark back.
It's Jordan Clark, isn't it?
Oh, please. We need some excitement.
And Henry and Collar Jasny just adjust their roles slightly.
Yeah, we've got the tools to cover... Yep. I mean, the Gold Coast haven't really got any monsters.
No.
And Tom Atkins...
Tell you what, Ben King looks okay. But
Henry can play on Ben. Oh, Blitz, yeah.
Yeah, Blitz is going to have to go to King. He looks every bit as special as they said.
Tommy Atkins, we think, will be missing.
Don't look at me like that.
Oh, no,
do not look at me that way.
Tommy Atkins perhaps will come out.
So I'm looking around as if are we allowed to say
who comes in?
Oh, Quinton Narkle.
Sparkle.
I don't know what happened there.
Why was he out?
Are you looking at... am I the coach?
Well, yeah.
You're the man with the inner sanctum
I'm not
access.
in there. They kicked me out. I'm out.
So Sparkle's, clearance work at the ball has been good. I mean, defensively, but if you're picking on Sparkle, you've got to pick about 8 other blokes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So Sparkle comes in for Atkins. Clark comes in for Stewart.
So there's leg speed.
And that's probably the only 2 changes that would take place.
How do we get Chooker in? What are we going to do with Chooker?
Listen, we've got to get Chook in soon.
And you've got to make a call on Jack I mean, if he plays again similarly.
No, it's fine. Stokesy made a decent point.
3 weeks is 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, build some time. Others have had time, so not a problem. Actually, it's a really good point to make.
Some have been given years to get their
so we want
performances up
I
to
just
scratch.
want Chooker in at some stage. So there's perhaps only 2 changes this week.
So just quickly, on the Gold Coast, so if they're playing their style, like you said, is exciting, you got to come at them with that, don't you?
Well,
doesn't that open it up for you to have a crack the other way?
Yeah, if you match them and beat them in the contest initially, and you got your hands on the footy.
That's what I mean.
Then there should be some opportunities to go bang right through the middle of them.
Watching them on the weekend, their danger is their spread. They spread hard, both ways too. They get backed up their defence, but they push forward. And I mean, he's an absolute jet already, Rao. But he's kicking 2 goals every game.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That's going to be our biggest concern is, are we going to be able to go with them?
They've got some good young players, Ainsworth and Bowes and these types of players. Yep. Even Lukosius is just building into his
he looks bloody good. But then also you look at some of the guys who've been around for a while. Miller, I never really rated him that much, but he last year and he's just built on that again. So, and even Jared Harbrown, the halfback, is still doing what he's done. And it seems like he's been around forever. But their spread is what... When I was watching him on the weekend, is what scared me.
So poor Cam Guthrie, best on ground, in the glory, and then you're most likely going to have to tag an 18-year-old.
Maybe. I don't think we tag.
You got to play on him.
It didn't tag Cripps down here. It's not a hard tag. The
Cats
don't play a hard tag.
He's got to spend time looking after an 18-year-old.
Yes, you've got to
because he's a superstar.
He's a superstar. That's fair. We've got to take a break because I want to talk with Darcy.
Did you tuck his jumper in like Rao?
No.
Pull his pants
Did
up
anyone at Geelong with you blokes? Was there any tuck?
Chappie.
Chappie was a high tuck.
Chappie was a high tuck. Can I just leave you with one thing before we go to this break? Nakai Cockatoo.
No. Is he trained?
Full game this weekend. He's going to play.
Give him a
full game.
Calm your farm, Cameron Ling.
Come on. I'm looking for excitement. We've had a game that they scored 47 points.
I'm on him now. Just play him. Don't even play him in the scratch match.
Oh, God.
Nakai Cockatoo. Don't come in here with your glass half empty attitude, Mathew
negative.
Stokes.
Get him in there.
Cocky, come
on.
on.
When he breaks down, I'm the one that has to train with him. So I don't want to do that anymore.
All right, come on. We've got to take a break. But before we do, it's important to stay healthy while staying at home. That's why GMHBA have partnered with Keezer. If you're a GMHBA member with extras cover, you can access telehealth or in-centre physio from the team at Keezer with no out-of-pocket expenses up to your annual limits until September 30. Waiting periods and sub-limits apply. Search GMHBA Keezer for details and stay healthier at home. I was excited to see that Keezer is now opening up. You've got to make an appointment so my back can get strong again, Scotty, and I can get running.
Come on. Another marathon?
Hopefully one day. I need my couple of Keezer sessions a week. So big thanks to GMHBA for their support. Let's take a break. Darcy Fort is up next. Welcome back. It is great to have you all with us on To the Final Bell, brought to you by Panther Tyres. We're also supported by Deakin University, and digital is in Deakin University's DNA. With 40 years of experience in distance and online learning, discover why they're the #1 Australian public university for overall educational experience. Premium, proven, loved. Study online at Deakin. As I promised, Darcy Fort is joining us. And just before we do say hello, what did you say about South Barwon people being soft, Stokesy?
Oh, yes.
That was a little tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, sure.
That's
Sure.
Come on.
40, you know I love you. You know, nothing but love you.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Darcy, welcome, Darcy. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, a former South Barwon boy, then via Geelong Falcons, via Werribee, via Central Districts to the Cats. Is that the right order?
Yeah, there's a couple of years at Footscray VFL in there as well, behind Werribee, so got most of it.
Got a fair. That's as much research as I ever do for a podcast. So, it's quite a journey though, and now, from all reports, doing great things. Pre-season, first class, got the opportunity round 1, missed in the restart of the prolonged gap between round 1 and round 2, but back in on the weekend. How are you feeling at the moment about your own form?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, obviously, when I missed, a bit disappointed, but it was good to go and have a good hit out 2 weeks ago against Northern Blues and played all right. And then felt I did a few good things against Gullan on the weekend, and so feeling pretty confident.
What did you do wrong over the break, Das? Did you eat pies, drink cans for 3 months, and then, you're out of the side again?
No, I'm not too sure. I think they just wanted to go with the race when we got back, and he obviously did a good job against Carlton. So, against Hawthorn,
We marvel at Maxi Gawn and love Brodie Grundy. They're the 2 best ruckmen in the competition. You got to come up against him, and as I said before, did a really good job. Really important. The worry was, and this is no offence to you, Das, but a young ruckman coming up against Gawn, I thought, if Max Gawn completely dominates this game, it's really difficult for the Cats. So the job that you did was absolutely crucial to the Cats winning. What is it about Max Gawn? Why is he so good? Is it sheer size, or is it what he does with his body, his vision, his work rate? What is it about him that makes him as good as he is?
Yeah, I think his size, definitely can't be underrated, but he's also really, really strong. So you can do a lot of good work on him and get in a really good position. But because he is so strong, he's so tall, even if he's close, he's probably going to get a hand on it. So he's a very tough competitor.
The coaches, the opposition coaches, talk about, and maybe some other mids too, when he does get his hand on it, he's got a really good touch. Is that right? Is it that he can go 360 degrees, he can put it wherever he wants, and with nice touch too. Some ruckmen just sort of smack it down. Is that what you see from Max Gawn? Yeah,
he definitely did that a couple of times on the weekend. He could get some really clear hit outs if he was in good position, and can put it down the throat of some of those mids.
40, obviously you come to the footy club last year in a sense of you probably working really closely with one of our greatest ruckmans of all time in Brad Ottens. What have you found in learning and being able to be taught from someone like with Otto, who's got such a great experience and great mind and footy like you?
Yeah, Otto's been massive for me, especially this pre-season. We did a ton of work with our ruck stuff, and he's just constantly reminding me to be aggressive and do what I do well, and just try and use my feet and use my hands and try and just get really good contact with opposition ruckmen.
Das, how did you keep the dream alive? Like you said, your Falcons way back in the day. Did everyone keep saying, don't worry, ruckman mature later, big blokes, all that? How did you keep the AFL thing flickering?
Yeah, it was always in the back of my mind. But yeah, my number one sort of priority when I was sort of coming along was just enjoying my footy, and that's something that I've been very lucky to stuck with me, and played some really great clubs and some really great people, and they've just been able to sort of just keep making me better as I've gone along.
Is it true, sorry to go back to the Otto question, is it true, Das, you were coming out of Falcons and, you know, where you were going to go with maybe Sandford and VFL and all that, that you actually played against Otto and you were noticed...
It's in Wikipedia. He stitched him up.
That you played a really good game against Otto. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's been blown a bit out of proportion. I think I was rubbish. I'm pretty sure he kicked 3 on me and Stu between us. But, yeah, he was my first senior game at GFL level. So that was... yeah, it's a bit intimidating, yeah.
It says you were little noticed until you stitched him up in the GFL.
Has he invited you out to the farm?
Nah, not yet.
Not many people get invited out there.
Special people.
And they get invited out there and they're never seen again. They get chucked in a chook shed and used as feed. So don't ever go out there. You'll never return the same. Look at me. I've lost it ever since I went out there. How are you dealing with this COVID situation in the sense of, look, uncertainty of the fixture moving forward? We talked about us going over to Perth into a hub, then maybe to South Australia. From a player perspective, how are you going with the season being up in air?
Yeah, it's been really tough so far. Obviously, the layoff we had was really tough to deal with, and staying motivated was really a struggle for a lot of guys. But yeah, now that we're back into it, we sort of got a bit of a routine. It's starting to get a little bit better. Obviously, it's going to be tough going to WA, but it's also really exciting and should be a good opportunity, especially for some of the younger boys to see what it's like over travelling interstate and playing footy. So, yeah, like I said, it's been a bit tough, but it's also exciting and good to be back.
Do you realise with the hub, you're going to be stuck with each other the whole time? You ain't going to be able to go out. Now, let's just throw some mud at some players, all right? Who do you know for sure will be the most annoying teammate in the hub?
Yeah, well, I live with Ben Jarvis, and he's pretty annoying, so I'm keen for a few other players to experience that. Yeah, he's probably my number one, I'd say.
Come on, one of the older players. Who's annoying in the older players? Let's throw him under the bus. Who cares?
No, it's not too bad.
Zach Tui, we're happy to throw him on the bus anytime.
No, Ridge has been pretty nice to me so far, but maybe that'll change when we go over.
Well, you're 26, Das, so what other strings to the bow? I gather you've tried a few things away from footy. What have you conquered in between becoming an AFL player?
Yeah, so I've got a Bachelor of Engineering, and before I got drafted, I was...
Hang on. Are you the first intelligent ruckman that we've ever had?
There's a few of us, mate.
Who?
I think Will Minson's a pretty smart cookie from one of the few chats I've had with him.
He's smart, stupid, Minson. I know Will. He's a dumb genius.
So Bachelor of what, sorry?
Engineering,
yeah.
So how do you have a conversation with Otto then? Or Reese.
Smart man as well.
Or Sava.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't even know this. This is blowing me away.
You'll get to know some of the people around the club. Das, I asked you before and you were very diplomatic, but let's be honest, Stokesy keeps hanging around the club. You guys, new to the club, young players, you don't want him around, do you? You just tolerate him and go, oh yeah, good on you, Stokesy, and then try and excuse yourself from the conversation.
No, he's good value, Stokesy. He's always up for a chat, and he's good to have down at the training track. I've picked on him a couple of times when he's been on the marking bag, so that's been fun.
He's only ever up for a chat all the time because he doesn't want to do any work. Hey, pipe down, Chachi over there. We don't tell people our secrets. But nothing's changed. I'm there to people to, when they feeling bad, I'm there to them to pot. And that's nothing's changed over the last 18 years of the Geelong Footy Club, you know.
It's usually ruckmen who are doing it too.
I absolutely hate ruckman. But Das, you actually changed me. I've actually really enjoyed getting to know you over the last couple of years. And your aggression is something that I love. You're just, you're a friendly giant, but you have a bit of an aggression streak into you. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably my older brother. He used to get in a fight every time we went on the footy field. So I probably tried to match him a little bit, but yeah, not quite that level.
Das, which teammate we talked about, which one has given you the speech about when you give it, always handball it to me, you're not allowed to kick the ball, one of those sort of speeches?
No one yet, but I've Jack Stevens been telling me here a few times, telling me a little cheeky hand pass. But
The new recruits, didn't you?
Between Jack Stephen, Gary Ablett, Patrick Dangerfield, and
that's
Joel
where I was
Selwood.
heading.
There'd be a lot calling for that footy.
There'll be no kicks. Hang on, did you kick it last week? Let's check here.
Yeah, three
kicks. That's about as many as you're allowed, I think.
Hey, Das, let's talk about just really why you got a player's perspective. We've got a really big weekend coming up with obviously the great and the other great. What's it from a player's perspective in the sense of coming into this week, the milestone? What does it mean to you and what will it mean for the group?
Yeah, I think for everyone in the group, I think we're all pretty honoured to be a part of it and, be involved in the process. They're obviously two absolute champions of the club and champions of the game. So, hopefully it's a great night for them and we get the win. But, I think we're all pretty proud of the fact that we've been able to pull on the jumper with them or even just play with them. So I think there'll be everyone will be trying to do everything they can to get up and get right and get the win this week.
You know, we've have a history and a legacy at our footy club that we don't lose milestones. All right, so there's a bit of pressure. You blokes better win for these two boys. I'll tell you that right now. Is that right, Cameron?
That is right. Not to heap too much more pressure on Das as he's...
Put pressure on him.
No, well, Das... sorry, Scotty.
Oh, well, have they had the video, they have video packages that go for like an hour and a half of those two?
You want to be comfortable.
Here are the highlights. Oh, okay.
Have they done the video yet, Das?
No, I think it might be tomorrow.
Oh, wouldn't you love a copy of those?
Imagine that.
I'd show here to my kids, watch this. Joel Selwood and Gary Ablett highlights.
How much blood will they be shown on that?
How long did yours go for?
Darcy, this is what we put up with here, these two.
Mate, you throwing stones. All you did was chase a man around a footy field. At least I chased the footy.
So, it's turned nasty, Das. We don't want to leave it on a negative note, so I'm going to leave it on this one just really quickly. Great opportunity for you, and we wish you the very best to do it too. So hopefully get a really good chunk of time in the ones and establish your spot. Obviously, Mac's gone on the weekend. Looks like probably a run of Jared Witts, Rowan Marshall, Brodie Grundy, which would be a great block of games for you to challenge yourself at the top level. So we wish you all the very best and hope you can string those games together and solidify your spot in the senior team.
Thank you.
Great to chat with you, Das. All the very best. I think I like him even more now, Stokesy, because he's another ruckman who just stirs you up.
Anyone over 6'4" stirs me up.
Excellent. We're going to take a break. We're going to talk the two legends straight after the break.
Welcome back to the podcast, Cameron Ling. Obviously taking over from Cameron with the announcements. But thanks to Macca's, purchase a large value meal to go into the draw to win a Zoom call with the boys, hosted by yours truly, Mathew Stokes. Simply upload the receipt, enter your details and questions you would like to ask Joel Selwood, Mark Blitzabs, and for your chance to win. Am I doing this all right, Cameron? Because it's not as easy as it looks.
Keep going.
Only available in Geelong and the Surf Coast areas restaurants, and check the club's website for details.
Oh, that wasn't too bad, Stokesy.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Yours truly.
I wouldn't have a week off if I was you, Cameron.
I'm just glad you know that it's harder than it looks, reading off your phone and trying to talk.
It's bloody easy, Cameron. I know what you're talking about.
That was very impressive.
Beautifully
Macca's
done.
on board.
Matthew Stokes, thank you.
Is there a reason why I've got Macca's as the one?
I didn't want to say anything, but no. Well done, Stokesy.
Thank you, Cameron.
Thanks to Macca's. Also thanks to Panther Tyres, who are the supporter of this podcast. We are back now after that beautiful reading there by Stokesy, and we're back to talk two legends, not only of the Geelong Football Club, but of the entire AFL. I don't know where to start. We just do one at a time?
Yeah, we'll go with the captain first.
Okay.
So, first memory, first training session. You probably heard a little bit about him, that he was highly regarded.
He came and trained with us
that's right.
as part of the AFL Academy. And
12 months previously.
Yeah, so spent a week down here, probably did 2 training sessions and was around the weights and just around the rooms and all that sort of stuff. I remember thinking, Stokesy, I really want to draft this bloke. Please get him. But all the talk at that stage was...
Hockey.
Hawkeye was
He was going to come anyway.
the
Hawkeye
superstar
Hawkeye
big guy.
was big boy too when he came here.
Oh, yeah, he was.
But all the talk was that Joel was going, if not number
Number one.
one, top 3, and we wouldn't get access to him.
Yep.
Let's say we intentionally had a poor season in 2006.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that is a joke, just in
and
case
he
anybody
intentionally
listening.
had a knee injury.
Yeah,
in
Joel
this
had a
election.
knee injury. We manufactured it beautifully, and he slid to pick 7, and we got him. And I think Wellesley almost fumbled over the words when he read it out. He couldn't believe that he had the access.
Mitch Thorpe went to Hawthorn the pick before, and they sort of got over it and won a few flags.
Legend has it, and again, we're allowed to add some mayo to this, but Wellesley went into that draft wanting Selwood and Boak, or Selwood or Boak, at pick 7. Boak went at 5, and Wellesley was nearly going to start crying because he just assumed Selwood's going at 6 and that he missed his 2 guys by 1. Mitch Thorpe got read out, and for the first time, I think Wellesley did get a bit flustered and fumbled over his words and couldn't read out Joel Selwood quick enough. But even from that first time, Stokesy, he was an impressive young man.
He was impressive from day one, exactly, Cameron. I mean, just training with him straight away, you knew that he was something special, even before he played a game. It was incredible, the impact that he had on the group in that first pre-season, surrounded by some really influential people, strong-minded people, and for him to be able to come in and change mindsets from day one is a testament to the man he is.
Let me throw this game. You guys mentioned it to me off air. Round 5, 2007. It's the kids' 3rd game. It's against North. It's become a famous game later because it was you got pumped, or you were all horrible except him. And this was the real eye-opener, wasn't it, for everyone?
I think so. I think we came in and Bomber pretty much tore shreds off everyone, but said the young man in Joel Selwood was the only one that stood up. And
so
I
he's
think
best on in a losing team in his 3rd game.
3rd game, yeah.
And it wasn't just being best on by getting a few kicks and having 30 possessions. His influence on the game was massive, despite us losing and the game, us playing so awful. And it was quite embarrassing. I do remember walking off thinking
seeing his attack on Adam Simpson, I think 3 or 4 times. I mean, watching that in that game back a few years later, to see that the kid had this drive and the toughness that he is, and he goes down as the toughest I've ever seen, was evident from his 3rd game, like you said.
I remember, just to highlight the mental strength and his drive, I remember, I think it was 2011, pre-season, we were doing a running session at Torquay. His brother Troy had come to the Cats to be part of the VFL program, but Troy, super fit guy, was part of the running session. And we were doing 400s.
Yep.
And Troy it still had a decent crack, but it was in the 2nd or 3rd group for most of the 400s. The last one, Troy got up and ran it flat out and beat Joel in the last 400, and Joel had been in the top group for the whole thing. Joel being defeated by his brother only by about half a metre, he's crossed the finish line and just turned around to Troy and gave him the biggest spray I have ever heard, accusing Troy of being piss weak for not having run harder earlier on in the session, saving himself for the last run, and just ripped shreds off him just because Joel had finally been beaten in a run. And I thought, oh, wow, this is why this guy's so good.
I think, and he's even reading my good friend Cam Mooney's article today about maybe a statue of Joel and Gaz, but definitely Joel. I mean,
Joel's the greatest captain this club's ever had.
I think
You're playing yourself down.
No. In all thank you, Scott. But no, in all seriousness, Tom Harley, 2-time Premiership captain. Reg Hickey, obviously an absolute legend of this football club. No worries at all. Freddie Wooler, Fred Flanagan, all legends, no question.
Yep.
But Joel is the greatest.
I think what Joel brings differently, not only to you and Harles, was Joel had this look in his eye in a game, and it's just get on my shoulders and I'll do the rest. Yep. Follow me. I mean, and he drove me so many times by just the sheer look in his eyes before a game. And there's been games where it was on the line, and you just look at Joel and you just knew that we were going to get through because he's grit. So, and he's held this club, without being disrespectful to everyone else, including myself, he's held this club together for a long period of time.
Because there was a balancing act time too when. So a group of guys all retired nearly straight away after 2011, influential senior guys. But then there was another batch. And Joel was a young captain at that stage, and it included you and Cal and Stevie and
Scarlo.
Jimmy and all those guys. the respect that he had to have with you guys, but also the respect and connection he then had to have with the younger guys, that's a tightrope that not a lot of young captains can walk so perfectly. And he did it. He held those older boys and younger boys all together, didn't he?
I think so. I think what his point of difference of who he is, Joel, is that he commands the respect on the field, but off it, you will never find a better bloke. He is up there with the greats. I mean, for him to, if you ever see when we won the flags, and a lot of the times we weren't in the greatest conditions, we'd have family everywhere. If there was one person that would go through to every family and know every name of your partner, your mum, your dad, your sisters, your brother, there was Joel Selwood.
Yep.
And every kid that we had, Scarlo had the twins at that stage, Dasher, he would be with the kids playing with it. That's the type of guy that he is. And I think he goes down as an all-time great, but I think he goes down as one of the guys who held this club together in a time where there was a lot of older guys coming to the end of their career. We had to make way for the guys coming through. And he was the backbone of this club for a long period of time, and that sums him up as a person. He goes down as one of the best blokes I've come across in football.
I agree. It's still those clear recollections of Joel's Sunday morning recovery session. He'd do his recovery, super professional, but he'd then spend another hour just mucking around with, Scarlo or Dash's kids, as you said. His caring nature, his thoughtful nature too, combined with this incredible, just aggressive desire to be the best and demand. Him and Nigel Lappin's one-on-one extra, what we call craft sessions, where it's just throwing the ball off the rebound net. They were legendary.
Yep.
And this is on top of all the training, everything you do. There'd be blood noses between Nigel and Joel as they beat the crap out of each other because Joel wanted to test himself never fumbling under immense pressure. You could film those training sessions, those 10, 15-minute sessions, and put them online, and people would want to watch that. Who's going to win out of Nigel Lappin and Joel Selwood? They were so good to watch. I was sitting back going, just grab me a box of popcorn. I'll watch this for half an hour.
It's easy to really pump him up as much as we can because obviously he is so great. But there are two parts of him that...
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, there's probably two parts of his journey that it gets bypassed a little bit. One is I don't know what person at Ford gives him a Raptor because he's the worst driver I've ever seen. And also too, and you back me up on this, don't you go quiet, is when we had team meetings, you always knew where Joel sat because he breathed through his nose. And
like one of those little like British bulldogs, just the snort and the sniff and...
Too many hits to the head, Joel. Too many hits. But we have to have a bit of fun. But
what a legend,
mate. Look, I don't want to you don't want to pump him up too much, but he for me, you go. I think in our group, you go Scarlo. I think he's Gaz. I mean, Gaz goes number one, and then it's just Scarlo and Stelzy right behind him on equal playing field.
And for all round, though, for everything he brings to a club, Joel is
head and shoulders above anyone.
Yep.
I asked you about Joel first time. Little Gaz.
Can I give you raw numbers on Joel before we move on to Gaz? Just to go through the stats.
I've got one good
just to
stat.
polish it off. Pick 7, 2006 draft, obviously playing game number 300. 6-time All-Australian, 3 as captain, 3-time best and fairest winner, 4-time most courageous AFL Players Association award, obviously the rising star. 13 seasons, he has played more than 20 games in every single one of them. Phenomenal. Averages over 25 disposals a year before this season. 5 and a bit tackles. 198 Brownlow votes. 27 votes in 2013, his highest. He came runner-up that year. The winner got 28. Do you know who that was?
What year?
2013.
Probably Judd or something.
Gary Ablett Jr. for the Gold Coast Suns.
13.
So the closest he got to a Brownlow was 1 vote behind Little Gaz in 2013.
He should have won a Brownlow.
Yeah, of course he should.
How would you have gone against him if you tagged Joel Selwood?
Would have been as enjoyable challenge as I could possibly have. It would have been so hard to stop. Because I've said this in the past, players that can only win the ball one way are easy to stop. Outside players, that's all they are. Inside players, you can sweat all over them and cover them. Those who can win the ball incredibly well in a contest but then get out and spread and run and can win it in multiple ways, so hard to play on. And like a Simon Black, Joel is just the most fierce competitor that even when that ball's in that half-metre radius, well, good luck trying to stop them. I would have loved the challenge, but would have been really,
And he
really
enjoys hurting people like you, taggers
Yes.
like you. He doesn't like
He doesn't mind. He hasn't been known for the gentleman that he is, Mathew.
He's a grumpy ass. He is grumpy as.
And there's one. I got one stat. Only one game of his 299 hasn't mattered. Has been a dead rubber. Only one.
What do you mean?
What are you talking
Well,
about?
all the other games he's either playing finals or you're positioning for finals or
Stokes' last game.
215 was it?
Yes, me, Joel.
That's the only game he's played in where it hasn't mattered.
He probably
That's
still
pretty
had,
phenomenal.
Probably still had 40.
And he probably had 40 and ran
Well,
around
what's-
just making
what's-
sure you
what-
guys got a kick because that's
Imagine-
what he would have wanted to do.
Imagine Cade Simpson from Carlton or something. He would have 200 of his 300 that...
The one thing that Joel is underrated is his skill level.
Yeah.
Because he's so tough. I think he's number 5 for goals assists in the competition. I mean, he's underrated in that sense.
All right.
Yeah, the little man.
The little master.
I was going to ask you the same.
Now, I don't care how long this podcast goes for, by the way. Usually we've got Rowan, the legendary Rowan, who's our producer. Great man, just says, keep it to a certain time. But
he's happy with
when it
this.
comes to Joel and Gaz, I'm going to go for hours here.
Because
Gary
I
Ablett
remember
Jr.
I was sent to a Falcons game at Coburg or somewhere, sat in the stands. They said, just do a piece. And I'd run Mick Turner. I go, mate, I know. Can I talk to him? He goes, yeah, good luck. Anyway, watched him and he had long sleeves on.
Mop of hair.
And he didn't do that much, but he did about 3 things. You're like, oh. And then in the rooms, Scotty, come and talk to you. And, you got less than a word. What was he like? I mean, you would have heard, son of a legend. Yep. So then he arrives at the footy club.
He's always been.
He wouldn't have spoken to anyone.
Oh, but yeah, he was reserved. He was hesitant to let too many people in to talk. But once he was one of your teammates and he trusted you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Even from a young age, he's a beautiful, beautiful human. He was really just gentle and he'd just talk and you'd have a laugh with him and just a terrific, excited kid to be. He just wanted to be at the footy club and play little games of footy and challenge you. He's always done that, table tennis, whatever it is. Really tight with Dave Johnson from early days. Dave Jono was a big part in his first couple of years, just making him feel comfortable, and he'd often stay at Dave Jono's house. He then... People ask me, what did you see anything in him that was going to suggest that he was going to be as good as what he ended up being? Not as good as what he did end up, because he just ended up a phenomenon and one of the greatest players to ever play the game. But there were little signs that he was going to be a gun.
Yeah.
He plays a little forward pocket, and in match play scenarios at training, he'd just be so clean and just flick the ball up to you with this vision from ground level that was so impressive that you kind of realised, oh, okay, if he goes near the ball, get yourself over near that contest because you're going to end up with it as well, because he was so good with his hands and had a little bit of an evasion. Didn't have the body to do it, couldn't push off, would often get tackled as in his first and second year because he was so light. Just thought, as he develops a body and he develops more confidence in his step, he's going to start creating a little bit of chaos. But in that first season, I didn't know he was going to be as all-time great as he's turned out to be.
It's a fair assumption.
What were your first little...
And my first thought, I got to the club, obviously 27 next to 29, and he was already pretty much a star. And just the open arms, he just, got to the club and he was just, he knew that I liked R&B and, I love my basketball, and all of a sudden we sort of hit it off. So to be to come to a footy club, there's nothing more intimidating. Your first couple of days, it is, you're a bit fearful.
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
Honest.
It's first day
for the
at
guys
school,
you idolise, and to come in and probably the biggest name player with Scala at the time, for me to come in and him to go, mate, I'm your mate, and put your arm around you, it's something special. So we've had a great bond ever since, and we still have challenges on the basketball court. He wins some, I lose some. It gets really competitive, and that's just who he is. I mean, I always think too what it would be like to be him, because he is Gary Ablett Jr. and he probably goes down as one of the couple of the greatest of all time, but also too the mystery around who Gary really is, and he's an incredible human being just like Joel.
That's the bit from my perspective is how he's maintained just a level of such goodness and niceness. Like, he'll always say hello to me. He doesn't have to do that. I'm just, the media who, he's not his favourite friend. No, Scott, how are you going? How he, he's been the son of one of the greatest ever, so that's hard enough.
Well, and coming in, it was, he looks like he's a good young player, but he's never going to be as good as his dad. He lived with that for the first, 6-7 years of his career.
So everyone's always looking at him when he's not at the footy. Like, it's phenomenal that he's maintained this balance.
And he had that little escape down Janjark and Torquay, and he was a little surfer, little skatey boy, and he liked getting down there. But at the heart, I know he's got that, but at the heart of him, though, if you really push a button or two, he is one of the most fiercely competitive blokes I've ever come across. I mean, you're right. You have to be. The discussions that we had, going back sort of 07, 08, Stokes, you'd remember these, talking in midfield about how we're going to do this, and Gary would just go, no, this is how it should happen. And we'd argue that, that's not possible. and then he'd go, well, I'll show you, and do it. And it was on a whole different plane of anything that most of our minds could comprehend. The way he'd bring a tackler within a couple of inches of him in order to force him into the tackler's last step, foot in the air, so that he knows which way to get around him. And go, mate, the tackler's 50 metres away, and I'm already thinking who I'm going to give the ball to. His mind just is. It's an incredible football brain in there. I know he doesn't openly talk about it as often, but when you get him going, he's got a brilliant footy mind that is highly competitive and a high football IQ.
His true greatness of a player is how good they make their teammates, I think. Yeah. Both Joel and Gary make their teammates hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
But Gaz, in those 7, 8, 9 and 10 before he left, you'd see him being tagged and there'd be 3 blokes hanging off him and you could still bolt forward. Me and Burnsy and Chappie and Stevie would see it and just lick our lips and just go bang forward. And the amount of goals we got, pretty easy cheating goals over top, was because Gary had 3 or 4 blokes hanging on to him and he'd still able to get a handball or kick and hit the target.
His touch kick too.
He's got that.
And there's no better person to lead to because he'd know where you're going and he'd just put it in front of you and you'd be able to lead into it. I think that's the measure of the true greats. We get superstars and greats, but he is on a whole nother level.
And so to go back to the contest where you're running away from, when the relief in my mind when you pick up the ball, and let's be honest, Scotty, I didn't have a lot of leg speed. I wasn't going to go bursting
you're harsh on yourself.
Out of the pack myself. But you pick up the ball and there's 2 guys who are just going to destroy you, and you turn the head fractionally and there's Gary in your vision. The relief of basically, sometimes you just hand him the ball, wouldn't it? Gary, please get us out of trouble. And then the 3 guys would try and tackle him. He'd either get around him or be still hanging off him, and he'd hit one of the forwards lace out. Phenomenon.
One of the funny things about Gary, and a little bit different to a lot of the other superstar mids that we've had, is that my job for probably 2 or 3 years with Bomber was always to block his man. So he'd come to me and go, Gaz, whoever's got Gaz, you got to block. Not once did I ever get a thank you from anyone else. I used to chase Moons' man. I used to chase Hawke's man. Gaz, every time I blocked, thank you.
You did?
Yeah. Really?
It was incredible. And we can't throw him under the bus like I threw Joel because Gary is Gary. So, but it just, in the middle of the game, it just would be a quick thank you. It was incredible.
Class.
So none of our other midfielders said thank you. So stuff you.
I'm going to speak for a lot of the fans. He's one of those rare players where you watch it and every time he goes near the ball, he gets it. That sounds simple, but when you watch footy, as you would now, some players, when they're going, he would always get the ball if he entered a contest.
Keeps his feet with the intent of winning the ball. Yeah, I agree.
There he goes. I was there the day he got 51 or whatever against Collingwood.
And I'm sure a lot of people had their doubts of his ability to go to the Suns out of a star-studded Geelong team, play with a bunch of kids and be as good. Well, he got better.
Well, he won a Brownlow.
He got better.
Yeah.
If he didn't get injured that year, they would have played finals.
Yeah. And he would have won another Brownlow.
He would have won another Brownlow, yeah.
And a beautiful human, as you said, too. Spending time with him and Jordan and going to their wedding. Just a really beautiful family and a high-quality person. Can I give you his numbers?
No. How long we got, bro?
Okay. Gary Ablett Jr. Pick 40. Little bargain.
How many father-sons did we just get? We got kissed on.
Father-son, 2001. He's played, of the 349 games, he's played 239 for the Cats, 110 for the Suns. 2 Brownlow medals, as we know, 5 AFLPA MVP, Lee Matthews trophies, 8-time All-Australian, 1 as captain, 2 Carji Greaves medals, 4 Suns best and fairest, averaged 25 disposals, 1.3 goals a game as a midfielder. Remarkable. The best effort was 44 goals in 2010, where he averaged 31 disposals a game.
Did he win Brownlow?
Didn't win the Brownlow that year.
Umpires, you got something. You got to explain to do that one.
So hang on, a midfielder's averaged 31 disposals and kicked 44 goals.
Who won 2010 Brownlow? I'll keep saying Judd. It might have been.
I think it was
Juddy, I think. Yes, it was.
Hand it back, Judd.
That's a disgrace.
261 Brownlow votes. Fairly solid. Also, part of the 2002 VFL Premiership versus
He was the famous team.
Port Melbourne, featuring Chappie, Stevie J, Josh Hunt, James Kelly, Jimmy Bartell, that went on to be members of the Premiership team. Just a little trivia one for you, Scotty. The JJ Liston medal that year, the Brownlow of the VFL in 2002. Who was it?
It wasn't Gaz.
No, it wasn't Gaz. It wasn't a Geelong player.
Sam Mitchell.
Good get. Well done, Scotty.
That's what I bring.
A fair bit of quality running around the VFL that year. The Cats players I just listed, plus Sam Mitchell, wins the Liston medal. They all went on to have reasonable careers. It'll be a big moment. I'm sorry if I didn't back you up better when you asked Darcy Fort about the milestones for.
No, you didn't. You just
looked at him. My mind was thinking about what I was supposed to say next. But you're right. It is special that a milestone game, especially for people of the importance of Joel and Gary. And I know there's regret that as a club, as a team, we stuffed up Boris's and I think Jimmy was their special milestone match against Melbourne. That's one of the few milestone games that haven't worked out. But over a long period of time, it has been a big deal to make sure that game is a special game for those players. And it'll be big here. I know the crowd can't be here, unfortunately, but on Saturday twilight...
Knock the fences down, supporters. Get here. Support them. There are only fences. There's only about 4 security
We
guards
adhere to COVID restrictions here at the
Yes,
I'll collect the money at the front.
We want people in their homes, make that much noise that the players can hear it from the ground. Yell and scream at your TV. It will hopefully be a very, very special day for 2 of the greatest to ever play for the Cats.
And I think our club will honour them later on
down
the track. So the supporters will be able to show their appreciation and love they have for these 2 greats. But there is a bit of pressure when it comes to it because you do need to put in an effort to showcase your love and respect for these 2 greats. So hopefully we get the win. It'll be an important win for our season, but it'll be important for these 2 boys to get a win and show that love and respect that they deserve. Yeah, well said, Stokesy. Also on top of that, if you want to get any of the merchandise, memorabilia for the 2 guys...
yeah, there's plenty there.
shop.geelongcats.com.au to check out. There's all sorts. Stokesy's got the Joel Selwood bobblehead, complete with bandage around the head.
All that's missing is a little bit of blood, and this would have been a perfect photo of Joel Selwood in his game. We had a bit of bandage and a bit of blood.
We want the great Josh Kay or... Dave Frith, Sir Swamp Thing from the Channel 7 Stats Gurus to do the stats on how many games Joel played of his 300 with a bandage around his head. Still surprising he's actually still good looking for the amount of hits that he's had on his head and how many scars he has. Like he's done very well, hasn't he? He certainly has. Good luck to those 2 players. Huge congratulations. I echo everything that Stokes has said about them as human beings and them as Geelong football players, and obviously Gaz, we'll mention briefly the little Suns experience there, but stuff the Suns. We love what they've both done for this great football club, so wish them all the very best, wish the team all the best, make it a special night for Joel and Gary, please guys, because it is important that we honour those 2 legends of this footy club. We will be back next week, not sure who our guests will be. We are aiming for Diggsy. We want Diggsy. I know you'll be listening, Diggsy. Please come on next week. I'm sorry. I know you're probably not going to love the Patriots gear I'm going to be wearing, but we will have you on next week. We will be back. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the game on the weekend. Hope the Cats have a big win.